away.
Hi there. Thank you so much for listening to this bonus episode of Grounded in Maine. My name is Amy Fagan, and I have some of my friends here. I have Karen Sorensen, who is a past guest. I've got Mary Avino, who is a friend of mine, and my friend Robin Knight, who you can't see, but you'll be able to hear her. But we are talking about our favorite charity, which is Growing to Give for Podcasthon. So I am so happy to participate in this third edition of Podcasthon. For 1 week, more than 1,000 podcasts will highlight a charity of their choice. And today, this bonus episode of Grounded in Maine, I am talking to my friends who I met through Growing to Give. And Growing to Give is a it is a nonprofit farm in Maine, which is where I am from, of course. And they are about a mile away from where I lived. And I volunteered there for about 7 years with Robin. We were the Saturday crew, Saturday morning crew. And so we had Karen and we had Mary and Robin and me. And we were like, it was more like family. Like we just, we really were we missed each other when somebody was missing, and we were so thrilled to be together. And my last day there was a lot. It was a lot. But these people have become my family, and I'm thrilled to be able to chat up Grounded in Maine, which not Grounded in Maine, Growing to Give, the other GR. So Growing to Give in Brunswick, Maine. So they are owned by Patty Carton and John Newlin, who own the farm, which is actually called Scattergood Farm. And they started this project in like 2015, but they started Growing to Give in 2017. And Robin and I were the first. Well, Robin was the very first volunteer, and I was close behind. Um, but we would go every Saturday morning, and they have, every day volunteers, I think. And it is volunteer run. And I know this past year they actually hit 100,000 pounds of produce. So they grow organic produce just to donate it to the local food banks, because food security is really rough everywhere. And they just wanted to take care of their community in the Brunswick area. And so this is where I met all these wonderful people, and we just wanted to chat it up a little bit, because it is more than just food. It is, really, it's community, it's family, it's nurturing. Anyone else?
No, I mean, I 100% agree with all of that. When I moved to Maine, I initially was working an in-office job, and then it quickly became remote in the pandemic. And I felt like I didn't really have a community or roots in Maine because I was a transplant, and I was seeking that through volunteer opportunities and got connected with Growing to Give. And like the energy that it gave me just to be in the presence with that group of people and to be giving back to my community directly, working a lot with Mid-Coast Hunger Prevention through that. Like I think it made the largest difference for me in my quality of life, like as a person, just being of service to others, and also like meeting you guys and checking in and like hearing your stories about your lives. And like y'all were with me when I went through job changes and when I went through big personal changes, and like all of that while learning so much about cultivating food and seeing the seasons change and taking like a seedling that I planted in April and harvesting it a few weeks later or a couple months later and seeing how the earth itself moved. Like I talk all the time about how special Growing to Give is to me. I feel like it's number one cheerleader. I talk endlessly about it at work and I try to get everybody to show up, but it is like one of those once in a lifetime places. And when it clicks, it like feels like your soul's moving, you know?
Right. I
Yeah.
totally do. And Mary's moved a few times since since being with
Several.
Growing to Give, and now she lives in the same town, which is super cool.
In biking distance, which honestly was a huge up. So I'm very excited to bike to the farm this summer.
Right. And dirt therapy, garden therapy is no joke. Like that is super, super
Mhm.
good for you. Anyone else have anything to add?
Robin, you
Well,
want to go next?
yeah. Well, I actually got introduced to Growing to Give because I was looking for a job. I'm another transplant from actually New Hampshire, where I worked for a state agency for DHH within DHHS. And I loved what I did there. It was clerical, but I loved what I did there. Um, and when I tried to apply for some of the positions here that were for similar position, similar things that were state jobs, um, I didn't have the same feels. You know what I mean? It's like the when I would step in the offices, I just didn't feel like it wasn't the same atmosphere that I was familiar with out of New Hampshire. And
Sure.
so I felt like, well, maybe a nonprofit would be a better fit. And I don't even remember where I saw the ad, but they were looking for somebody to help run the volunteers and do the work. And I didn't know a lot about that. I did have some supervisory training and a lot of other skills I thought I could transfer. So um I applied for it, and John got back to me and said that they weren't going to really make any decisions right away. It was going to be a couple of months. And so I just drove him nuts. I just kept emailing and saying, and then eventually I ended up with a job, and I've been there ever since. But Patty actually contacted me in the middle of the winter of 2016 and said, hey, we need volunteers. You want to volunteer? And I got back to her right away and I said, well, I have a job now, but I'm only probably going to be available on Saturdays. Can I do Saturday? And she's like, oh, yeah. And so then I started going, and it was just me and Theda. Theda was the farm manager, the original farm manager who recently retired. Actually, she told us her news the same day that Amy told us she was leaving. So it was
Team.
kind of sad for me because I mean, Amy and Theda were my, you know,
Right.
I,
We're the OG crew.
yeah, exactly. But I mean, it. I mean, you guys were the reason I was going. That's one of the reasons I was going, and so it was just
Yeah.
little bittersweet for me because you guys had better things coming to you, and you had opportunities that were opening up, and you felt like you needed to go for it. And you know you know I'm just staying where I am. So
Good.
but
You're still
but yeah,
applying.
yeah.
You'll hold
So
it all together.
but growing to get, I mean, somebody asked me recently what I did there, and I was just like, I go get dirty. I follow the people
Mhm.
around that tell me what to do, and I do it, and I come home covered in dirt.
Well, yeah, and it's totally, garden therapy. Like you get dirty and you have your hands in that dirt and there's like a healing property to that. And then there's the
Yeah,
also like the pride that you take in growing something from seeds.
you're right,
Mhm.
exactly. I mean, one of my favorite jobs there is using that seed blocking tool.
Yeah.
That thing is a blast. And if you don't know what that is, folks, what a seed blocking tool is, go online to your any seed catalog, and they all have them. But they're really fun to use, and they're really efficient. But we all kind of, I mean, did this. Would you guys say it was kind of like an assembly line, kind of? One of
Totally.
us one of us would do the seed blocks, and the other, somebody would make holes in the seed blocks, and somebody else would put seeds in,
Yep,
and
totally.
then somebody would bring them into the greenhouse or the starting shed.
Mm-hmm. And we're a well-oiled machine after many
Yeah.
years working together.
Exactly.
I was a big fan of the broad fork myself. I felt like it was good for maybe some pent-up aggression I was holding in.
Absolutely. Step
Yeah.
that ground. Step on it. Stomp.
The weeding
Sure.
also therapeutic.
Mhm.
Oh, and putting the
And
fence post,
Yep.
putting the
Oh
posts
my gosh, yes, the post hole digger thing.
Ooh, I love the post slammer.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, the
Yeah.
post for the tomato plants with that slammer thing. We had to stand on
Oh,
a
yeah.
ladder
Mm-hmm.
with a
I
spotter
own
so
one
we
of
didn't
those
fall
now.
out.
They're too much fun.
Yeah. Man, I mean, and I don't know how many shovels full and buckets full and wagons full of
Right.
compost.
Compost or wood chips or yeah.
Mhm. Sandbags filled up those things. Yeah, it was good
Yeah.
time.
Sandbags, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that's what I told, that's what I told the person that asked me is that anything they asked me to do, I would follow that person around and do exactly what they told me to, or try to do what they told me to.
right.
Mhm.
Yeah. And then sometimes we got a little silly and had a hard time focusing on what we were doing. I don't know, maybe it was just me, but I feel
They
like
have
kind of got
comic relief
carried
once in a
away.
while.
Yeah. Theda had to come around and get us
Yeah.
back.
Are we on task or are we not on task, everyone?
Yep, that's right.
It was always us. It was always us.
It was always us.
Yes. Number one offenders.
Yeah. Well,
Mhm.
I mean, I can say I kind of secretly think that they let the Saturday crew come just so we could all hang out together.
Right?
Because I mean,
Yeah,
it
they may or
got
may
toward
not
the
be
end,
helpful, but they'll be glad to see each other.
Yeah.
yeah,
Exactly. Just that.
I think it kind of got to the point where we weren't exactly getting a whole lot done.
I wouldn't say that. We
Yeah,
busted
no,
butt.
I was just gonna
Really,
say,
really.
except for Karen, because
We
Karen
did.
would come in and do everything.
Yeah. Give me all the buckets. Give me all the heavy
Yeah.
stuff. Let
Karen's a
me.
machine. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I came to the farm. I'm sorry. Didn't want to cut you off, Robin.
Oh no, it's fine. You're fine. You're absolutely right. I was about to say that. when you said it.
Yeah, I got to the Grown to Give farm through the Master Garden Volunteer Program in 2019, and they had a whole long list of volunteer opportunities. And the first one I saw was Growing to Give, which was relatively near to where I live in Auburn. And that's the only one I really tried out because I found my home right there. I remember the day clearly. It was a fall day. We were doing the garlic, binding them all together. It was just a beautiful day. The farm is just a gem. It is just really literally the most beautiful farm that I know. And I've worked for a few farms in Maine. It's literally my favorite farm because it's so beautifully set up. It's so inspirational. That's something that I want to implement for myself down the line at some point to some degree, not like Theda style because Theda is Theda. But yeah, I got there day one, and I've been going there consistently for a few years until my life went a little topsy-turvy. And everything changed a little bit. And now I'm Massachusetts, so really far, far, far away from the farm. And but yeah, just being there every Saturday, no matter the weather, rain, shine, sun, hail, anything, snow, it's just so beautiful to be so close to Mother Earth and to really be able to grow your own food, not our food, but just to be able to participate in growing food. The ultimate human experience, growing your own sustenance with your own two hands, and being so close to nature and everything, the bugs and the birds and the earth is just one of the most magical things to me. That's really where I need to be
And the
down the
goat.
line for sure. Yeah.
And the
yeah,
goat.
we have so much fun there as a crew, it was really a highlight of my week, usually to go there and see you guys, and like you all said, if one is missing, is like, oh, but hey, there's somebody else,
Yeah, right. There's always
and we
somebody.
really, yeah, and we crushed it hard. I mean, I love physical hard labor, especially when it's outside. It just really gives me the energy that I need to really function and roll like a machine. Like a gym for me, just it's like doesn't do it, Need to
Right.
be out there in the sun and the rain and do my thing, But yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful place. Anybody who is near there, definitely go check that out. They like the help, they want the help, they need the help. So definitely everybody listening and you're close by, go give it a whirl.
Yeah.
They would
Always
love that.
accepting volunteers for sure.
But
Mhm.
it's a 2-hour commitment. I don't think they're going to be, well, based on the email I got from one of the board members today, I don't think they're doing shifts every day anymore
No.
right now. But definitely Saturdays. So if you check out their website,
.farm.
growingtogive.farm, and there's a link for that says "But get involved" or something
Mm-hmm.
like that. And then there's
Volunteer. Yeah.
yeah, and then you click on volunteer, and it'll bring you to the link to sign up for a shift.
Right.
But like I said, it's only 2 hours. It's not a whole lot of time, and the most fantastic people you'll ever meet.
Time well spent for sure. Yep.
From all walks of life, from all kinds of jobs, all kinds of parts of the country, the world, and
all ages.
All ages. That's the best part right there. Yeah.
Yes.
What did Theda say? 2 to 92, something like that. Ages.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it was something like that. But the one thing I wanted to say was, well, when we started in 2017, it was just you and me and Theda to start. And do you remember that lady's name, that other one that used to be a school teacher, the older lady? She had the she has the herb garden in the farm.
No.
Anyways, it was her too. She came a little bit later. She was a school teacher, and the first volunteer appreciation dinner was in John and Patty's kitchen. Amy, I don't think you could, because you had just started your second job, so you weren't there. But it was me and the teacher and her partner and John and Patty. And Patty made soup and bread, and it was amazing.
And now it's a huge.
Yeah, and you know, not even 3 years later, there were so many of us that there was no parking, and we were jammed inside the house all together. And then the last couple of years, they had to have a venue to do it.
Right.
You know?
That's impressive.
Yes, and during the pandemic, Theda was managing 3 or 4 shifts a day of volunteers because people were just coming out because they were furloughed. They didn't, they do their jobs.
Well, and outside was safe.
Yeah, being outside was safe. I mean, we all wore masks, and they quickly, shifted and put together protocols about hand washing and masks
washing
and everything, everything to keep everybody safe. And they were coming out, everybody was coming, and it was, I'd drive in there like on a Tuesday morning, and all the parking would be full.
Right.
I was like, wow, it's crazy.
Yeah.
And the place is so beautiful.
It's so beautiful.
And it's like it's like a Disney movie sometimes.
It does feel like a Disney movie.
You're driving down the long driveway, and there's like little, finches and martins, flitting around in front of you, and
the goats.
And the goats when you
some goats
to greet you.
Yeah. Yep. And I used to be so afraid of bees. And, of course, it's a farm. There should be bees there. And I was working in one of the really far greenhouses several years ago. And along the hillside there, they had grown some sort of cover crop, and it had little yellow flowers in it. And it was just thick with bumblebees. Just thick. And the other person I was working with stepped away to go ask Theda a question. So I was standing there by myself, and it was so still, and the sun was shining, and the sky was just cerulean, and it was just fantastic. And I just stood there in the stillness, and all I could hear was the bees buzzing. And it was the most calming, most mind-opening thing I think I'd ever heard. It
Mm.
was I call it bee music now. And it was just the cool, stuff like that you never would have experienced anywhere else.
Mhm.
Right.
Right.
I'm sure we've all had those moments where you're just like,
Stunned
"Oh,
into silence.
get to
Yeah.
hang out here. This is my place."
Yep.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love how the farm also really incorporates all those really beautiful, beautiful techniques, old, new ones, the biochar that
Mhm.
John ended up making himself, the pollinator gardens and elderberries. Oh, the elderberries. Ah,
Right. And the no-till practices, like
the
that was before it was
no-till.
really,
Yeah.
really
I
cool, I
mean,
guess.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
They're really regenerative, and that's just really a beautiful thing. And at that scale too. I mean, it's not a small farm. It is not a small farm. It's amazing how it grew over the years too. I mean, I haven't been there as long as you guys were, but I mean, it grew immensely. Like all those
Oh,
plots filling out everywhere. It's just such a beautiful thing. And yeah, the way it's organized and the way it's all rotated, and it's just a gem. It literally, guys, if you're listening, it's a gem. You got to go check it out at least. It's really beautiful.
Right.
yes.
And if not to volunteer, they do have some fundraising activities.
Hmm.
The Farmyard Jam is something else. And last year, it wasn't last year, but 2 years ago, was it the chicken races, Mary?
No, that
Oh
was
my goodness.
that was
I
this
think
year.
that was
Aw.
this past year.
Yeah,
Uh,
that was September. Yeah.
Oh,
and
okay, it was July.
Oh,
but
July. Oh, right, July. Yeah.
I think we maybe 2 years ago or a couple years ago, we had to call it because of a hurricane, which was devastating. But I
Yeah.
can tell you, I've not screamed louder in probably the past 10 years than during the chicken races. I wanted Frances so bad. I still remember her. I wanted her to win so bad. She didn't make it, but she did make me proud. The chicken races were awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I
Um,
love that rubber duck race thing
oh
with
yeah, the rubber
the
duck
water
game.
pump that John put together. Oh my gosh. John used to be an educator, you guys, and he knows what keeps kids interested. And
Hmm.
so those things that he puts out on the lawn aren't just
Yeah.
cutesy stuff that he threw out on the lawn.
He
He
knows what's
knew
up.
exactly what he was doing. And
Mm.
I mean, the duck race thing, especially with the water pumps and the gutters and everything. Oh my gosh, the kids love it.
Right. Oh,
That
Yeah.
the games are super fun. I especially like where's the donkey gonna poop?
oh, that's really good.
Whoever
That's
so
awesome.
you pick the square that the whoever is gonna poop on. Uh, it's so
Like
random.
a duck bingo or something, duck poop bingo. That's pretty cool.
Pretty much.
Oh, there's another thing. If anybody's listening and you don't really feel like volunteering, they do have an Airbnb that they rent out. So if you just want to spend like an idyllic, beautiful weekend or a week there and just really enjoy everything without doing a single thing, go
Oh,
check
yeah.
that out. I mean,
Yes.
there's so many options to get there. Yeah, there's definitely a way for you to get there if you really want to.
Yeah. Or you can just donate.
Or
Yeah.
just don't.
There's a link on the website.
Yeah.
Growingtogive.farm.
Yeah.
All the information is there, as well as a nice little write-up about Robin that I saw, why she matters so much to Growing to Give.
Mhm.
But Karen, I totally did not remember that your first day was a garlic day, because I
Mhm.
remember so well dreaming up this idea of the podcast, which was supposed to be a YouTube channel, but we were working on garlic. That is just
Mhm.
magical, I guess. Like that was,
Mhm.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
It was
And
Karen and I
again,
that dreamed this up, you guys.
And again, that's something that I really appreciate about you, Amy. I mean, I've been seeing you growing for since I got there ultimately, what you've done, what you've accomplished. Now you're here. I mean, I'm just in awe of that without bullshit. Can I say that? I don't know. Too late. You can exit out. But like, I'm immensely, 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 immensely proud of and watching you grow and do all your things is just absolutely magical to watch. And I love that. I absolutely love that. You go, girl. You
Same
deserve
here.
everything that's coming for you.
Mhm.
Yep. I feel like all you girls' mom sometimes.
Yes, you do. And I love that about you, Robin. Just put your jacket on.
my kids my kids aren't home anymore. We're empty nesters, and these are my new chickies.
Yeah.
Right.
I call us the oh, what did I used to call us? The
What did you call us, Robin? What did you
The
call us?
Warriors.
What was your nickname?
Weekend Warriors?
Name us.
The oh, I can't. The food.
Don't think of it. Don't focus. Think of something
Yeah.
else. It'll come to you.
The warrior princesses of food insecurity.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
I'll
Yeah.
take it.
Another super fun, sorry to cut you off, another super fun memory I have with Grown to Give in regards to the elderberries. I was doing the trimming with, what was her name? Oh my goodness. What?
Abby?
Yes, Abby. We did the not trimming, the pruning in the spring twice with her, and that was just a good experience. And I was really appreciate that, or the fact that I could give a elderberry seminar at the farm among the elderberries. That was a really special moment that I definitely treasure for a long, long time to come.
Yeah, the collaborations have been really, really awesome, with different organizations because I remember, oh my gosh, I know Robin was there when we were doing Jerusalem artichokes.
Oh
And
yeah.
it was December and it was so cold and we had to wash them and it was so cold for wet hands. Oh my goodness.
We did that again this year.
But it's hundreds and hundreds of pounds of Jerusalem artichokes that they're donating to the tribe up north that they
Yeah.
Oh, good. Oh my goodness, that's amazing.
yeah. But yeah, I mean there's just so many different collaborations that just makes it super special.
Yeah.
Mhm. And just the idea to have a farm to not sell to the public, that's just to me still a little mind-boggling that it's possible, that you can really do something like that, not having to rely on the public to kind of like sustain, support it. I mean, it's, yeah. I guess we could talk all day about this because it's just really a magical, magical, magical place.
Right?
It is.
It's so true. And thanks to John and Patty for dreaming it up and
Yes.
collecting all the awesome volunteers to to make that community.
Yeah.
It's pretty beautiful. So I mean this is my charity of choice. Growing to Give is a very, very special place. It brought us all together and we dreamed up all kinds of cool stuff together. And they created this community that is unbreakable, really. I mean, they're a part of the Brunswick area community and collaborating with people all over the state of Maine and just making a difference, and we love them.
Big heart.
And I can't wait to get back in June.
Yeah.
So excited.
Saturday is the newspaper
Oh, the
planting
pots.
pot party.
Oh,
Oh, that's so much fun, yeah.
dang it. Well, I'll be there in spirit.
Yep.
I love it.
Love you.
I love it. So once a year, there's always a plant pot making session where tons of volunteers will come, and there's tea and coffee and snacks and so much newspaper to cut and to shape into little plant pots to start seeds.
With wine bottles.
With wine bottles.
Empty.
Yeah.
Empty.
Who's drinking all that wine? That's what I want to know.
Someone drank it.
Right?
Hey, don't judge, Robin. Don't judge.
The
They're long winters here in Maine.
Yeah.
It was a long winter.
Oh, man.
Anyway, well, I love you guys. Thank you so much. I love to get to do this and to talk about our people that we love.
Any opportunity to brag about you guys or to brag about the farm, I'm game. Thank you so much for having us to talk about it.
Yeah, and special shout out to Theda because she is a rock star.
Yes.
Our queen.
A rock star.
Oh, yes.
And I hope retirement is treating her so kindly and holding her so well. She deserves it after all of the work that she's put in over the years.
And everything she put up with us.
Yes.
She's doing awesome. I did see her a couple weeks ago.
Yay.
Oh.
Is it her art thing?
She had an art show in 𝗏𝗏cie, a very small one. But by the time I got there, I think she said she had sold already 10 things. And
amazing.
That was her paintings, not her. She had pottery there too, I guess.
So cool.
But she did really well. because I saw how much she had marked one of her paintings, the price of it. And if she sold 10 of those, man, I'm in the wrong business.
It was beautiful work.
Woman
Yes,
of many
yeah,
talents.
it was fabulous. I couldn't stop looking at it. It was just,
Mhm.
it was so different.
Yeah, she's got lots of talent for sure. And we
Yes.
were so lucky to have gotten to work with her for so long.
Yes. Yes.
All right.
Okay.
Yay.
So
Thank
good to see
you.
you and hear you guys. Miss you much.
Yes.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
have
this
so
is good.
much. I
And
hope we have a day where we all get to see each other on the farm again sometime.
Yeah, let's plan that out a little.
Yeah, let's
You're
do
coming
it.
in June, Amy? Good. That's
end of
already
June, last
booked.
week in June.
Or let the family know. I'm not going to be here for that. I'm going to be there.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I will see you guys soon enough.
Great.
Okay.
All
Good
right,
night,
you
Susan.
guys. Have a good night. Thanks,
Have
Amy.
a great
Love you
night.
guys.
Thank you, Amy.
Thanks,
Bye.
Amy.
Awesome. Love you. Bye.
Yeah. Bye. And that wraps up this special episode as part of Podcasthon. If you enjoyed it, please feel free to visit podcasthon.org to discover hundreds of other associations through the voices and talents of amazing podcasters. And also feel free to check out 𝗚𝗿𝗀𝐻.farm. Thank you.